Alright, well, I guess, hello guys, welcome to Planet Mithril, and the first attempt at what was vaguely going to be some kind of podcast slash online chat? Review?
Maybe the first of some kind of video.
The first of some kind of video. Now, you guys know that I like to do the tournament reviews after throwing skulls and after usual events, and I tend to do this just on my own in front of my camera. And this time I thought, hey, let's get Jeb involved. Because he was there for the weekend, and some people say he's got an opinion, so...
Yeah, those people are fools.
I know, but yeah, just a chance to go through our armies that we took, go through our games, any particular highlights we had, any particular like shenanigans, and then just talk about the weekend as a whole. Because I know that we are going up to doubles in when is that, July?
That's in a period of time that I've not contemplated yet and shan't.
You wanted to give it a couple of months before we sorted armies out. I was like, we don't have a couple of months to do that.
What can I say? Agent of Chaos Jeb reporting for duty.
Agent of Chaos on lazy ass.
A thing can be two things.
That's true. Yes, it can. Yes, it very much can. But yes, so doubles is happening, and this is apparently going to be a thing. The two of us. So we're still working out what we're going to take. I think Arnold's probably a front runner, isn't it? So,
Maybe.
He shot down all my ideas.
They were bad.
They weren't bad ideas.
Yeah, well, I didn't like them, so they were bad.
Ah, yes. The second most prevalent person on the channel.
But no, I mean, doubles is hard. You know, you've got to pick an army that you both like. It's got to be an army that's kind of okay. It's got to be an army that you own. It's got to be an army that actually has rules.
Stuck on that last one.
You can't do camels.
I'm never painting camels ever again. That's not happening.
Well, you probably won't with my sad lack of camel.
Well, that's true. I won't have to. No, that's very, very true. And also, to be fair, I think only one of those quantifiers is really an issue. Like, we never usually worry about if it's an army that we own, or if it's... I never worry about if it's an army that's good.
Well, I've always worried about it being an army that I own, because tournaments are always a good excuse to paint backlog.
Yeah, I just pushed my backlog further back by buying more toys.
Except for that one time that I bought all of the wargs until GW were out of stock of wargs, and then I didn't paint them or use them. Except for that one time.
That one time, which was for the event we're talking about now.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, if you care about something, you won't be talking about my lovely warg army.
No, you won't be talking about his lovely warg army. His lovely warg army is still brand new in box.
We could do wargs.
I'm not doing wargs.
We could do a doubles of just wild wargs.
That sounds awful.
Yes. The key requirement for doubles.
Oh no, I'm not going to try and vindicate your bad purchasing habits just so you can paint and play wargs.
3 wild warg chieftains each.
Oh.
And 22 wild wargs each.
That's not a lot of wargs, to be fair.
Well, it's 44 in total, plus 6 hero wargs.
I don't want to do 44 wargs.
You've got most of that painted.
What? I've got 18. Oh, yeah, that's true. That is how
18 is most of 22.
That's how numbers work.
That's number wang. Welcome to Maths with Planet Mithril. Or is this not the educational segment?
Absolutely not. You know me.
Yeah, so Grand Tournament, that's what we're here for, right?
That's what we're here for, yes. For those who are unfamiliar with the structure of Grand Tournament at Warhammer World, you take up 2 armies, 700 points each of both good and evil, and you play 6 games across the course of the weekend, which is 2 days. Come on, keep going with the charades. Let's keep going. So it's 3 evil, 3 good. And you're pitched good against evil, so the theory is that you won't be playing evil versus evil or good versus good. And I think that generally tends to run fairly well, actually, doesn't it? Based on the pairings.
I mean, I've never encountered a grand tournament where I've done blue v blue, red v red. So I've always played right way around.
I think it's only really ever an issue if there's like a drop or a buy or something, but I don't think that they're generally pretty good.
I have never encountered it, and I'm pretty sure you shouldn't because it's all everyone's got two armies, right?
Mm. Yeah. So we took the pilgrimage up to Nottingham once again, didn't we, Jeb? With Mrs. Mithril and our loyal Sam in tow. Why are you opinionating again?
Now, hear me out. Before we get going, controversial opinion. Less of a pilgrimage, so much as a mad rave voyage.
I don't know what you're talking about. Our particular mode of transport was perfectly reasonable, given the situation. The party bus was perfectly reasonable. There was 4 of us going, so we had to have a 9-seater car.
The party bus is coming.
Oh, I can't do that. My tits jiggle.
What?
Besides, you saw the size of my board, so those 9 seats really helped. It got the whole boot itself.
I was like, it fitted neatly in the boot with room to spare, and then we just dedicated a whole row of seats to the slack bag.
Oh, yeah, we did. So, yes, Mrs. Mithril very kindly drove us up because you can only have one driver on these things, and we weren't paying another £100 a day for a second driver on top of the funds for the party bus. Actually, that was a free upgrade. We didn't get the one we booked, the car we booked was like clapped out. It was really bad. So they was like, well, it's this, or you can take the tank.
So sorry, the one that you booked was a perfectly normal car.
It was more normal than the party bus was.
Yes, we all missed that thing. It came into our lives for a brief moment. It was there. We partied. It was gone. The moment of silence for our party bus.
Well, I met my first million on buying a party bus. With the Planet Mithril Battle Wagon. There you go. But yes, so we went up to Nottingham once again, armies in tow, and we had Mrs. Mithril again, like I say, who was driving us, and we managed to convince our loyal Samwise to come along as well, didn't we? Who I think at this point you would have seen on the channel if the backup's gone out before this.
Hey, he was in that one short a long time ago.
Oh yeah, General Rivers.
Die-hard fans of the channel will know him well.
Yeah, there you go. His claim to fame, apparently, yeah. And we wandered up to Nottingham for a weekend of fun frolics and dice rolling.
Not necessarily in that order.
No, not necessarily that order, and not necessarily all had either. So, as I said, it was 700 points good and evil, and I decided to do, because as you know me now, theme is key. Especially for GT, I like to try and do like a display board that encompasses both armies. And I spent an ungodly amount of money when the made to order came out a little while ago on metal Urukai scouts. So they were getting done for this tournament, as I only had to get about another 3 or so on top of that. And so I did then break in the fellowship on the other half. So it was Lurtz and a couple of captains and Uklug as well. And then just loads of Urukai with shields and bows. And then, it was Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Boromir, Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin on the good side. And because I didn't want to play 100 points down, we whacked in Haldir and a Banner Bearer, because that's apparently something you can do for an hour end game in the new rulebook.
Theme is key.
They weren't on the board. They had their own little mini display board. That's how extra I was.
Yeah, these gamers that have to win at all costs bring in banners.
Sorry, do you want to see my scorecard? We'll gloss over the Throne of Skulls where you decided to take 4 elf banners.
Yeah, well, that's the other end of the spectrum, where I had so many good things it made them bad.
And that was before you scored points for having banners as well.
I think it was also before Galadriel Warriors went from Defense 4 to Defense 5.
Yes, it was.
It was a bad time. But also, I handed out myself. I didn't take a single spearman. I took no shields. I just took running elves and bow elves.
Yeah, because those metal elves are beautiful.
Because I'm a perfectly normal and reasonable adult man.
I'll let the comments answer that one. I'm not touching that one.
Set poll on video.
Like a little pie chart. How much is reason? How much is logic? How much is just Jeb?
How much is just pie?
Pie. I digest. Anyway, so those were my two armies, and Jeb, what were yours for the people who don't know?
Oh, Lord above. I mean, I had wonderful plans. I was doing a lovely Warg attack list. Theoden, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Gamling, maybe like half dozen riders, and then Sharku, 2 captains, and about 39 Warg riders. That was my armies.
I really loved your plan for GT.
That's what I did, yeah. That's what I took.
I mean, you bought it.
No, I had most of it.
Apart from the 6 boxes of Wargs.
7, but we can gloss.
7. So what did you actually take, Jeb? And what was the reason for this?
Have to wait a picture of Warg made of Warg boxes.
It's 100%. Here is the Warg box Warg.
Oh, God. What did I actually? I took Angmar and Rivendell. That's right. I had Elrond, Lindir, a captain, and a bunch of elves. Because who doesn't love elves? And Angmar. Gulliver, Warg Chieftain, and then an assortment of Angmar things, but none of the things that people say are good Angmar things.
You had a couple of... Oh, you didn't have Battle Wise, did you, this time round?
I had one Battle
Wise.
There was no shade, there were no ring wraiths, there were no rolls.
No werewolves.
But there was a Gulliver, and I love Gulliver.
It's a shame he's awful now.
Yeah, he's not great. I had a real hard time getting any use out of him. Like he performed reasonably when in a couple of games when he got going, but
it's getting him there.
Getting him there. For those unsure, the current ruling, or rather the ruling I was given for the tournament, is that he only moves 6 inches rather than 12 with fly, like most flying creatures.
Even though he's arguably bigger wings than most flying models in the game.
Yeah. But he also has that large target rule, meaning that he can always be shot, and terrain and models don't block him, that kind of thing. So, moving 6, being a large target, defense 5 with no fate. I mean, he was like asking to be put down. So most of the games were, okie dokie, where can I put him so that you can't get range or you can't get line of sight or something? The only plus slide is the army rule gives them stalk unseen, I think it is. I think that's the rule.
Yes.
The count like an elven cloak, partially obscured by terrain. But oh my god, yeah, it meant I was playing games where I was running Gulliver around for maybe an hour of the game before he even got.
That's never a fun feeling, is it?
Oh, fine. Not a great list.
At least your key piece did stuff when it got into combat. I had the usual case of the rubber bouncing Aragorns.
Conversely, Gulliver managed to do some things and kill some heroes. Elrond, leading my other army, fell over, got sneezed on, got jumped up and down on, got obliterated. I can't remember what else happened to him.
Got put in a sack at one point as well.
I think he avoided the sack. I think he maybe got minced or turned to jelly or something bad. So you can never really tell how things are going. You know, I'm super careful with Gulliver because he might die. Elrond, hard as nails. Well, he's gone. So
yeah, that's much how my Aragorn went for most of the tournament. Legolas pulled his weight, but he's going to nowadays with his ridiculous buff. And Sam, actually, I'm going to say is my MVP of the weekend, but I'll go into that a bit later on. So, but yeah, so those are the armies we took up, and with the usual expectation of playing the first game, maybe on the top tables because it's completely random draw, and then plummeting to the lower end of the spectrum. But the other end of the hall, where the air conditioning is minimal and the bodies are vast.
I think I reached the lofty peak of maybe, I don't know, maybe 26 table at some point. I think that might be near the beginning.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I can't remember.
Yeah, I
first one was.
didn't stay there.
I think I managed to get down to like the second to bottom table though, so I'm actually more proud of that than I am about going up.
And yet, not low enough for a wooden spoon.
No, I really want a wooden spoon. I really want the thanks for trying trophy.
I mean, there's the thanks for trying trophy, and there's the here is a gift for you to start a whole new game because you're having no luck in this game system award.
Oh yes, good old Sam getting the Age of Sigma Sigmarine magazine.
I don't think anything will ever top that.
You could only do that to Sam though, right? Like surely. Oh bless him. Oh, love him. Yeah. So
wherever you are, we love you, buddy.
We love you so much. We love all the guys we get to come up to tournament with. And it was actually quite sad because I know that like the ticket system for these events is god awful. Like if you don't get a ticket in the first seemingly like 7 to 8 seconds now, you just haven't got a hope in hell. But yeah, we missed out on our usual gang. Wayne couldn't make it up. Sam and Paul couldn't make it because they couldn't get tickets. Callum and Crispin couldn't make it either, which was, it was a shame that most of the gang couldn't actually make it up there. Damien couldn't make it either. Although it was good to see some of the faces that could get up there, Calman and Phil and whatnot. But yeah, a lot of people that wanted to come couldn't actually get tickets, which was a real shame. It's almost as if Eventbrite isn't built for events.
That, or we just need a bigger gaming hall, one or the other.
Well, I mean, the gaming hall's big enough, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a record of what the I mean, if I had the scoring, I probably would, but I don't have a record of the number of players. Was it around the 80 or 90 mark, maybe?
Yeah. Was it like mid to late 30s number of tables? I can't remember.
Don't know.
I can't remember. You'd think I would see me as it was on the second to bottom one, but
there were number of tables and number of players, and Tom can fix that in an edit.
Oh, Tom can, Tom won't.
The put number on screen.
But to be fair, I suppose they try and keep the hall open for general gaming as well, right? So we can't just take up their whole.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
One there, more Middle Earth. That's my problem.
Me too. And I think what we all do. I think we should start hitting some of these independent events as well this year, if you're up for that. I see them pop up a lot. And I usually don't tend to think about it until after the fact. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are loads throughout the year. We just never get around to them.
No. We need to do better. Or, well, we need to just do.
I would say I am always ready to go. I always have armies prepared. It's you that doesn't have stuff ready. I've got hundreds of painted armies just ready to go.
Yeah, shame you can't use them.
Damn it.
Yes, for the record, chariots, camels, Farharad. What else have you lost?
Blackguard, they've gone.
Dwarves currently, although they're going to be coming in the new book, I'm sure, when that comes out. Dwarves currently, though.
Look at the cupboard. What else is missing? A lot of my goblins aren't available currently.
Oh, yeah, dragons, drakes, that kind of thing, yeah.
Dragons and drakes, but even goblins, prowlers, the drum. I don't even think we have Durbers, do we, anymore at the moment?
No, Durbers isn't a thing anymore. Not at the moment, anymore.
Yeah, so even my goblins are struggling. Yeah, well, that's why I had to buy watch.
So yes, not the happiest bunny at the moment, bless. But you'll get in some of your toys back, hopefully, in the new book. So.
Unless
just not the ones you really want.
Unless it comes camel-shaped or riding on wheels, I'm not sure I want it.
Oh dear, yeah, I got away quite okay actually because I got hit by the.
I got away quite okay. Army gets full army-wide buff. Fellowship gets mad increases. Other army gets army-wide buff. Mm-hmm.
I can't help it if Gondor and Isengard got buffs. You know, I lost heroes too. I lost Ingold. I lost Hurin. I lost those two. And the Ranger dudes. I lost the Ranger dudes as well.
Oh, my heart, it bleeds.
My Gondor heart bleeds with Fight 4 Warriors now. Woohoo!
God's sake.
But yes, so, wow, tangents, right? So yes, we get to Nottingham and into the hotel and just chill out for the evening. And it was actually quite nice to really kind of experience more of Nottingham on a tournament night than we usually do. Our usual remit is TGI Fridays, pit and pendulum for a drink, and then we're all too tired and go back to the hotel bar.
And that is largely thanks to me being so organised this one time that we all had a decent night's sleep the night before.
You know what? Actually, hang on. Oh yeah, it was throwing the skulls were painting your stuff, wasn't it? Yeah.
I know you started, so it sounds like I'm being complimented. Yeah, let's go for it.
Sure. But yeah, so we won't go too much into this Friday. I was going to say Saturday night, but it was kind of Saturday morning shenanigans, wasn't it? Saturday morning, Friday night shenanigans.
Yeah, well, suffice to say, there were shenanigans, and we did not get the sensible early night that we should maybe have had.
No.
Okay. We did have a nice time, and no one died.
We played a lot of beer pong. Mainly because our aim was awful.
Yeah, I don't know that we so much played beer pong, it's just we threw balls and missed anything relating to beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, like, we were really worried about those cups that had clearly been reused, but we had no problem picking up ping pong balls from the floor, which had people's feet and shoes all over them and dunking them in our drinks.
Funny, isn't it? How some things make perfect sense and others don't.
I know. Mental. The Stein cocktails in that sports bar were really good. We'll go back there again. Porn Stein martini.
Thinks wistfully about 2-pint Stein of cocktail.
That was good. That was good. So yes, let's just say we finished Friday and rolled into Saturday. I mean, I'd say slightly fragile, but I don't.
Freezing. These are all words that apply to us.
Sorry, are these words that we're not using in regards to this conversation?
I mean, I don't think I'd ever describe myself as bright and breezy.
Never describe myself as alert either. But yes, so we roll into Saturday morning. Bright, breezy, and ready for a day of intense social interaction and tactics and yeah.
I mean, regardless of my state of being, tactics are never a thing that's going to come up in my games. But
no, and my scorecard does reflect as such.
I think we were as alive as we are prone to be on a weekend.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
And you know what? I think it was fine. We had a coffee. We got to Bugman's, and I think we just settle into the old routine of being normal adult men who are also nerds.
Yeah, it's like a second home, right? It was just you just kind of like not like a shorthand or like an unwritten kind of. No, you just kind of it just feels natural. You go in, you hand your list in, you get your bacon, you sit at your table with your coffee, you just wait, you just watch all these armies fill up Bugman's. Everyone's getting their boards out because the boards still continue to be a really prevalent thing, and they're getting more and more, particularly at Throne of Skulls, but a lot more like intricate and in-depth boards and armies, and people putting a lot of effort in their armies events now.
Sometimes even a lot of hot chocolate in their armies.
I'm never gonna let them live that down ever. If Wayne ever comes to working well with us again, he has to drink his drinks on a separate table to wherever my army is.
Yep. But, we avoided any mishaps.
We did this.
Someone loaded up their Am on Hen with all the models in Bugman's rather than in the gaming hall and then tried to carry it all the way through.
I successfully carried it all the way through, thank you.
Quite incredibly managed to carry it through without mishap.
Yeah. It's only
I said you were a fool.
You're not wrong. It's only the Am on Hen scenery piece that weighed anything, to be fair. It's very tough.
I don't know, 50 odd little scouts, they're going to add up.
They kind of counterbalance the sheer, just massive, solid chunk of resin that was Am on Hen.
True.
But yeah, so it literally is just like it's like you've never been away, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I really look forward to the chance whenever we get to go up there, and the fact that this year we get to do GT doubles and hopefully Throne of Skulls.
Can you check in?
That's the one, right? We missed out on the team championships, but I feel like maybe 4 times in a year might be a bit much.
I'm not the one that's got to handle babysitting duties.
No, neither am I. That's the point of the babysitters, isn't it?
But you've got to arrange it.
Well, yes, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I'll be happy if we get 2. Ecstatic if we get 3, but 2 events is good.
Yeah, big time.
I'll let them, go back to one mod is always nice. And I mean, for me, having been uni there, like, was my local gaming store. So I've spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
So it's always very nice to go back.
I mean, why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had the only downside of the weekend was the kitchen refurb. But we were still able to get local sandwiches. We could still get burgers. We could still get bits and pieces from a street food wagon. So it wasn't exactly a write-off, but I think that's probably the only drawback that we should mention for the weekend.
Yeah, and I know that, like, I taught some of the event staff as well. They were always very conscious of putting on a good event. And they said, that's the only thing that they felt really let them down was the lack of food, and like the lunch offering was just kind of like cold sandwiches, crisps, and like a snack. And usually, like, you've got like hot food there, a couple of choices, and like, fine, things have to be reserved, and it's what it is, right? But the guys I spoke to were really quite upset's probably the wrong word, but like, really, it had annoyed them that was what we had to deal with. On our behalf, which was, it's nice to know that they care, and of course they do. But yeah, like, the street food was nice, and if you're paying for the ticket, you get lunch included. You may as well take the free sandwich, So, and
yeah.
But you can still get snacks, you can still get your drinks, which was the main thing throughout the course of the evening for the pub quiz. So, I think it ran about smoothly as it could have been under the circumstances. So,
for sure.
And if that's the only thing that there's any really great about, like. Look at me.
Oh, exactly.
I can stand to miss a meal or two, let's be honest.
I don't know what you mean. But yeah, I mean, that's basically getting the gripes out of the way, and the rest of it was all good.
Yeah, just a great time that we've come to expect from going to Warhammer World, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's one and it's also just the middle-earth community. I mean, I feel like we all know people that have had rough games of other systems, and I don't know that any of us had a truly bad game of Middle-earth. Maybe the occasional, like, slight inconvenience or mix-up or whatever, but never a bad game.
Yeah, I certainly can't put my finger on a point of time where I ever have. I mean, you guys know my thoughts about this community. I say it very, very frequently in my videos that this is just one of the best gaming communities out there. Honestly, I'm very privileged to be a part of it for my part, So
yeah, no, I'd agree. I think it's a community that's very passionate about the source material, be it the books or the films. So there's a lot of love and a lot of respect for the lore and making themey lists, even if they're not very good lists, for example. Which means you end up with sometimes some outrageous games, I think would be fair to say. But yeah, always good fun. And I managed to pull my usual trick of a Warhammer World event with, I think it's a minimum of 2 Iron Hills opponents.
Oh, yeah, it's your favourite
I
army to play against.
I do not know whether they really are that prevalent or whether it's just I'm the Iron Hills magnet. Throne of Skulls, I think 3 of 5 games were Iron Hills.
I mean, that's rough.
Last GT, I'm pretty sure was 2 as well. So I think it's a minimum of two Iron Hills opponents per tournament. And yeah, I don't know whether that's just me or it is a trend. But my armies are never built to deal with Iron Hills. So I should maybe do something.
You should start tailoring them towards Iron Hills, then you won't see a single one, right?
Yeah. I'll never see them again.
Yeah, just find some strength 5 troops, should be fine. So,
I'm not sure we've got any anymore, have we?
I don't think we have, no. Only thing that
My half trolls are gone, my black guards are gone. They were my go-to.
They were the only ones I can think of that would have been, yeah. So, no.
Gulliver having a pretty bad time on that front, but what are you going to do?
Well, that's it. And I suppose we can start going through some of the games that we had over the weekend. My first was against Dave, and he was rocking the Realms of Men, which meant I was putting Lurtz's scouts and my inability to have any kind of rank and file up against a shield wall of Gondorians backed by fight value 5 Numenorians, are they? They're 5
No
now?
idea.
I think they're 5 now. I'm literally got the book. No, that's the old book. Oh, it's so far away. I'm pretty sure they're fight 5 because I couldn't win a fight to save my life. And even when Uriko run in with a fight value 4, and you think, yeah, okay, this isn't too bad. You know, you've got a chance of getting the draw, or at least winning the fight on the draw. But with the fight value, no, just fight value 5 behind this shield wall of immovable ministerials. And then there was some armor ranges.
We never do it in Numenor.
It's Realms of Men, so you could have the kings attached to various attachments, can't you?
Oh, that new one. Yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah, which is actually, because it's one of the ones we've been quite interested in. It's actually really cool to see it played on the tabletop. It opened my eyes, if you like, because it was actually really, really well constructed list. I sound like I'm surprised. Dave beat me 19-0, so that will tell you how well skilled Dave is at playing the game, and just how much Uruguay bounced off that shield wall. But yeah, it was a really well constructed army. Like, it seemed to have an answer for everything. And that game was Reconnoisseur, wasn't it? The first one.
It was, yes.
Because we had to run over the side of the board. And you think, movement 11 scouts, jobs are good. Bomb right past them. But no, it's this massive thin wall of Gondorians I just could not push through. And the occasional Uruk that tried to peel off and go around the side just got chased down by like kings on horseback and God knows what else. So no, they played it really well. And his army's beautiful. There's some cutaways that I'm going to be putting in maybe here now. I don't know. That serves as nothing more than maybe an editing cue for me to put some photos in. But no, Dave played a really, really solid game. Oh, that was it as well. I was doing my little challenge. I took my little challenge for my Amon Head display board. I had 6 One Rings with me. And if I was playing as the evil force, I would give my opponent the chance to nominate a ring bearer in their list. And if that ring bearer stayed alive, they got to keep the 1 ring. And if I killed that hero, I then got to take the ring back. And vice versa, if I was playing the Fellowship, if you killed my Frodo, he got to keep a ring. Dave played so well, he got the ring fairly easily.
I don't seem to recall you coming home with very many rings at all.
I came home with 2. I think I came home with 2. I think. Was it 2? It might have been 3. I actually can't remember.
And that's because you brought 3 extra ones with you.
Yeah, I took 9, came back with 3, yeah. 6 games. Dave played a really solid game and just could not punch through this wall of defense 7, fight value 5. It was a really, really solid list. And actually, considering I actually couldn't do anything really fun to play against. So thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. And I know you went on to skyrocket up the tables, and I just remember seeing you at table 1 at one point. So, bravo indeed. I think did Dave not come second or first, or?
look, we've already established that this is about a month ago.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Mate,
sure I remember you
haven't.
getting a trophy. So if you did, congratulations, and I apologise for forgetting. But yeah, how was your first game then, Jeb? What did you have to come up against?
Oh, well, I lost the first game because, well, for a number of reasons. But the main one being, you know, that other video we did where we talked about some of the changes to the game and how they were somewhat small but impactful?
Yeah,
And then I forgot all about them.
that does sound like you.
I was, had a lovely game. Tom Hodgson, I think it was, with the 3 trolls with various upgrades to take them to 700 points.
Oh yeah, I remember. 'Cause you on the way home, you were just like, "I really want to play the trolls and throw the skulls." Now, why have I never considered the trolls?
Well, they did cross my mind very briefly as a potential, but then I was like, oh wait, no, because then I have to buy and paint the 3 trolls. Yeah, I was quite comfortably sitting there thinking, all right, 3 trolls, I've got 30 something elves, recon. This will be fine, won't it? I've comfortably got 12 elves off the board. 12 is 4 times more than 3. Surely that means lots of victory points. Dominant, is it? What does dominant mean again? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, what's going on here? And suddenly, the VPs were in fact opposite.
You killed me with that. Yeah,
it was a great
bad
game.
time.
As alluded to earlier, Elrond was like, you know what? I'm going to delay these trolls. I'm going to let these elves get away. And then he got immediately sneezed on. I think he got dehorsed and wounded, and like the first action of the game. And then spent the next couple of turns burning through all of his might to, I think, strike maybe. I think he tried some spells, failed all of them. And I think he basically fought maybe once or twice more before being, before being squished into fine jelly, which of course meant that the trolls were then free to just do their thing.
Go on a tear through the other Rivendell, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the upgrades are great fun. I mean, being able to force night fighting is a big tactical advantage. Which is huge, especially if you're against a shooting army. I mean, I think I only had like 10 elf bows, so it wasn't huge, but
it's
again,
still enough to put you on the back foot with a couple of good rounds of shooting, to be fair, though.
It certainly moves you from getting a couple of rounds of shooting to probably 1 round of shooting.
And then jelly.
Upgrading the trolls throw rock ability, which is usually pretty rubbish, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone use, throw stone, whatever it's called. Where you've got to sacrifice your movement and then throw a rock and hit on like a 5+ or whatever. But being able to upgrade it to make them be throwing weapons with the 3 trolls is great fun. And again, with night fighting, gives you the +1 to wound on shooting rolls.
Isn't that like a strength 9, strength 8?
I think it's strength 8, range 12 maybe. So you can charge into combat, lob a mighty boulder at +1 to wound because night time. As long as you don't roll 1s, you're probably wounding the guy.
You're probably wounding and more than likely killing him, yeah. Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff in there. Being able to give them full bellies to make sure they all have 3 might, will, fate. I can't remember what else there was, but there's just a lot of fun mechanics that make it feel like... and obviously that dominant change is huge, because it means if your army has 3 models, you can still win games like this where numbers count.
That's it. You're not playing on the back foot on anything that requires control of objectives or model of the board.
I believe the count as, I want to say maybe 11 between the 3 of them with the dominant rule. I think it's like 4-4-3 maybe or something like that.
That makes sense.
The campfire counts as a banner. So they've definitely got...
That's really good. I didn't know that.
They've got a rework. Yeah, I think if the game finishes and you have an enemy model in base contact with the fire, it doesn't count as a banner for VPs, so you can turn it off.
Oh, okay. That's clever. Yeah, fine.
But it's otherwise indestructible, and it's just a again, it's either like a 6-inch banner or like an 18-inch banner if you pay the upgrade or something.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So you can definitely make the trolls an actual force now, which I think is really fun. And that was a great game. Like, other than that moment of horrified realization of, 12 models to 3, is it? To, oh no, 12, 11 isn't in fact 4 times as many. Oh no, Eldon's dead, army's broken, Banner's dead. Oh boy. But it was a really good fun. It was a good start to the weekend, like lots of laughs and just a really chill game. So
That's what you want to start the weekend,
don't even lament my
Jellyfying.
oversight of the rule there. So yeah, that was really good. And I think we went into game 2, which was the opposing objective, wasn't it?
Destroy the supplies, yes, because then you're playing Eldritch Evil going into that, aren't you? Well, you were.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a sorry matchup for this one.
Oh, it wasn't Iron Hill. Wasn't Iron Hill's number 1, was it?
It was Iron Hills. And to be fair, it wasn't my fear. There was no Dane on Pig. There was no Chariot. There were very minimal goats / foreign champions or whatever. But destroy the supplies you've got to get across the board. You want to destroy the supplies. And when the supplies have got dwarven crossbowmen on them, Gullivar is not going to have a good time.
Oh, I remember coming over and seeing that match, and I saw who you were playing against. I was just like, why would the dwarves ever need to leave their objectives?
Exactly. Yeah, absolute smart play. I think Ben, I apologise, I didn't get a surname, but Ben, absolutely right move. You don't need to move. Keep those crossbows still. Let those defense 4 wargs run at your strength 4 crossbows.
And bounce off your
followed by the defense
7
5
shields.
Gullivar. So that was a pretty foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
But again, it was still a fun game. We still made a game of it, and I think Gullivar did make it to the other side.
Well, that's something.
So small mercies.
I don't remember seeing him in your dead pile when I walked over the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he really did a lot, but he survived. How was your game 2?
Game 2 was super, super fun. I was up against Dan Adams, and I got to play for the first time against Wraiths on Wings. The new the new all flappy ring wraith list.
This is one that was a vague contender for me because it almost recreates the joy of camels and impact hits.
Yeah, I mean, so what, it can, I think it's a strength 5 hit, isn't it, when they charge in? First time in a combat round, which, or first time in a turn, sorry, when they charge in, they can do a strength 5 hit to things. And when your fellowship is average defense 5, before you get a chance to even do anything, or, it's a strength 5 into a defense 3 hobbit, they have a bad time. And it was actually quite fun, like proper themey, just a fellowship running into these giant fell beasts, and just like we looked at each other, start of the game, and both said, 20 minutes, we're done. One way or another, 20 minutes and we're done. Either I'm cutting through those ring wraiths, or they're going to go for a tear through the fellowship. And actually, we ended up getting about a 40-minute game out of it, so... So we doubled our enjoyment, which was incredible. I remember Aragorn got a bit big for his boots and tried to take on ring wraiths, and just, like I say, rubber band Aragorn just fell over. He got strafed, and I think this was a game where he couldn't roll higher than a 3. And when you've got a strength 5 hit coming in, monstrous charge, knocked to the ground, rending, just bye.
You can't do much about that.
No, I think by the end of the game, I only had, I think it was Boromir and a couple of the hobbits left. Frodo was still alive, which was impressive. Okay. I had the fellowship that they don't enjoy being hit by giant big flaps.
Who'd have thunk?
Who'd have thunk, right? Although, what I will say, this is where my MVP of the weekend started to come into play, because Samwise Gamgee not only survived the combat turn with a Wraith who had charged him, but also killed the Wraith in hand-to-hand combat, needing, what was there, 6 and a 5, I think it was, to get the wound, and he had having no fate points at that point. Yeah. Shriek! Poof! Gone.
The important question is, was it done with his sword or with his frying pan?
You can't kill with the frying pan. You can only
can you not?
No, you can only like stun them or knock them prone with the frying pan. So the idea of Sam like Super Mario jumping up and just whacking a Nazgul on the head with a frying pan as it's mid-flight, yeah. Yeah, and I think that because we were talking to Phil the night before. Yeah, can I have a drink? Says no, I need to come up and help someone like with their army for tomorrow. And it turns out it was Dan who had bought these wraiths. Like I think he said either a week before or like when he got to Nottingham, he bought these wraiths for this event. Wow. So Phil had gone up to like, I can't remember the exact details of it. I'll probably get it wrong, but yeah, got up to like help him just blast these wraiths, and they looked really, really good considering they'd been painted like the night before. Like I appreciate. Like, there's not so much you can do with Wraiths on Wings and, like, the Fell Beast with that texture down the wings and whatnot. I haven't tried it because I'm not brave enough yet. But they look really, really good. And what I will say as well, the Dan's bases were really cool. Had, like, miniaturized locations for Middle-earth on the bases. So I had a teeny tiny Minas Tirith that had been 3D printed, and the ring wraiths obviously flying up above. And they look like really nice, kind of, like, high-up perspective. I love that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah,
big fan of that. Big fan of that. And one of his race was also tearing apart an eagle as well. So, you know, Black Gate, when they tear into each other above the forces of Aragorn and Sauron. And yeah, it's just that one eagle that kind of underneath. So excellent conversion job. I'm very tired. My eagle impression is lackluster at best. But that
eagle impression is always lackluster.
I know. But no, it was a really, really fun game. And like, even though you go into these games like you probably did with your game too, like you go in expecting a full-on conclusion, but people still play the game in the spirit it's meant to be played and still give you a game, right? Like, we knew that we were going to play, because what are the round times? 2.5 hours?
I think 2 hours.
Was it 2 hours? Okay. But we knew we were going to have about an hour and a half, like, just spare. And the fact we managed to drag it out, well, not drag it out, but make it last a bit longer, you know, and get more enjoyment out of it and have those moments in the game. I think Dan only won. He won 9-8, so it was close. And he only won because he went for the supply because something else didn't happen. I can't remember what it was, but either Legolas didn't die or somebody did die that he wanted to not on my side, which meant he then went for the supply. Because he didn't want to risk... Legolas didn't die, so he didn't want to risk Legolas striking and killing his last race, so he then went for the supply. Otherwise, he said he would have gone into combat with Haldir. So
I thought you were going to say the thing that didn't happen was you winning.
Oh, I didn't win. No, I
know. But the reason he won was because you didn't.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's also technically true. Yeah, this is the first time where I actually, like, after the first turn of shooting, looking back through my rules again and thinking, oh yeah, Legolas has sharpshooter. Could have made my turn 1 infinitely easier for me going forward. Did not.
Oh, that's very silly of you.
Yeah, yes it is. Yes, it is.
You could have shot all them, right? Right off those fell beasts.
I could have done. But I didn't. I meant for next time, though.
Well, you'll know for next time when you never take Legolas again.
I'll tell you what, Jeff. How about doubles? We take Breaking of the Fellowship.
Oh, no.
Why not?
I don't want them stupid hobbits.
You can have stupid Haldir.
I mean, 800 points. You could probably just take the proper Fellowship and just have Gandalf with you.
I mean, that's also true.
I don't want to do that either. I'm just saying.
Very good. But yeah, no, my game 2, Dan played an amazing game, and the fact we managed to drag out what was, in essence, a 20-minute game to actually feeling like we both got a bit of a game. Like, it was really, really good fun, and we had a great chat afterwards and caught up over the weekend. Like, yeah, great game. Super fun. And I loved the look of your race, man. Absolutely stunning. So, Well done. Which then rolls into my games 3, I guess, which was Fog of War.
War.
And
I think one of our favourite scenarios, right?
yeah, I'm really glad that survived the edition transition. Because it is probably one of the best games in the best scenarios in the game, I think. There's that whole kind of cat and mouse element of what scenery piece, what hero are you trying to kill, what hero are you trying to keep alive.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of second guessing. There's a lot of scope for like bluffing and like letting to take the bait. There's a lot of room for mind game.
Yeah, which is I love it. It's brilliant. Game 3 was Max Hurley against his Men of the West army, which was Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and yet another host of Defense 7 Gondorians. So once again, my strength for Uruk-hai, the bonus means nothing.
Yeah, buddy. Look at that. The thing you enjoy, your Minas Tirith getting buffed, hampering you.
No, you know what? It's fine. If anyone's gonna if everyone's gonna take my toys off the table, I'm glad it's Minas Tirith, because it just vindicates all that hobby I have in that cabinet and so many other unbuilt, that I've made the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Max, it was a fairly standard list. There wasn't any Rohan, went straight to full Gondorians. Yeah, Aragorn, LSR. Converted as well, which is really nice. Not hugely, but definitely enough that he was kind of the rearing pose he is in the film, where he turns from the force towards the Black Gate and rears his horse up and his sword's in the air. Men of the West! He kind of converted it like that, which is really, really lovely.
He's not his Aragorn's rear. Gotcha.
No. What's wrong with you?
Weird idea for a conversion. But,
why are you the way you are? Yeah,
hey.
just you for Frodo. Cheeks.
Hey, Sauron, get a knife full of this.
Oh, God. Yeah, completely.
Yeah, I converted like that.
Yeah, no, it was a lovely conversion. And yeah, just really solid. That one of these lists that didn't really have to actively engage with me, but still did. You know, he could quite happily sat there and maybe come towards it and bounce off the shield wall, but no, Max played it really well. And Legolas did Legolas things, as he's going to in this edition, because he is ridiculous. He had a lovely, little mini Black Gate display board. Did you see that one?
No, I'm not sure I did.
It was probably about a foot and a half by foot and a half, maybe slightly less than that. And it just had the gate, and in front of it had obviously the army. It was really, really nice. I don't see very many Black Gate display boards. Mainly because the Black Gate is a proper arse to get done, but it was really, really nice, and it really captured the moment, especially with the Aragorn conversion. It looked stunning on the tabletop, yeah. And yeah, Uglug got Aragorned, because it's nice to know that everyone else's Aragorns can, work as Aragorns probably should work, as opposed to the one I seem to bring. Doesn't matter what sculptor I bring, my Aragorn just doesn't decide and wants to do anything. But yeah, that ended 12-8 to the Men of the Rest, and the second Ring of Power that I had to give away. It's at this point, it's both evil games that I had to lose rings on, because Dan didn't manage to claim one in the previous game. So yeah, that was just a good old fashioned slugfest between Gondorians and Uruk-hai. So what's not to love? And Max was a really good sport about it. He knew it was going badly for Uruk-hai, and he still made me feel like I was having a good time. So what more could you want? Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Cracking game.
Yeah, I'm yet to face any of the new armies. I faced an old school Rohan list.
Nice.
Fed and AMR and such like. Nick Bramwell. And yeah, it's fun when you've got a scenario where you need to kill a hero, keep a hero alive, and your targets are people like Theoden and AMR, and you're looking at keeping alive a Barrow White or an Orc Captain, for example.
Yeah, my choices were Orc Captains and Uglugs, so not much better.
Yeah. And you know what? That was, again, a little bit cat and mouse with Gulliver just trying to move across the board without being hit by throwing spears or riders of Rohan with bows or any such things.
Oh, poor Gulliver.
But yeah, I kind of, because you can't target the leader as the hero you want to kill
No.
in Fog of War. However, Gulliver had set his sights on Theoden.
And he wasn't going to yield, no.
And sure, it took most of the game to achieve it, but eventually he killed Theoden. Of course, meaning that I didn't go after the other heroes. Meaning that I wasn't winning the game, but I had a good time when I think I got a beautiful hurl off at one point, actually dehorsing Theoden to start with.
Oh.
Just like, softening him up, ready to pounce all claws and fangs. Meanwhile, orcs and wargs just fall over because, wargs aren't cavalry, so they get cavalry charged and they're gone.
Yeah, that feels a bit bad, doesn't it? That's not a good feeling.
So, fine. Another not great showing for Angmar, but yeah, a good game, and a reminder that whilst there is new shiny Rohan, old Rohan is also still lovely to look at.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's any kind of iteration of Rohan that I wouldn't be happy collecting myself.
So
even the old Sons of Ale, they were stunning.
They were. Yeah, I've got some of them as well. But like Rohan Royal Guard, top tier models.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're beautiful models.
I love them a lot.
Yeah.
I think they're even one of the few models where actually I almost prefer the foot to the mounted. There's long cloaks. There's something about the way they look. Just it's so nice. That was also pretty good. As previously established, we're not really there for winning games, so
no.
That bit the outcome doesn't bother us. It's more just the playing that we're there for.
That's it, right? Yeah, we're there for the experience, not the result. So
yeah, so it's nice to play different people, different games, different armies. Get a bit of a cross section of the hobby, and just have a nice time. Just chat about the hobby with people as well.
Well, that's it. We don't. It's not a massive Middle Earth scene down our way, really. Not that I know of, anyway. That isn't just our immediate friend group. So it's nice to be able to kind of just have a weekend of just gushing about Middle Earth, vamping about Middle Earth so much. So
yeah. No, so yeah, 3 games, 3 not wins, and a lovely day had by all.
That's it. Plenty of refreshments, should we say, throughout the course of the day as well. And I think I finished on having played my evil army twice and my good once, rolling into day 2.
Yeah, evil twice, good one.
Yeah.
Because we might end up against each other on a Sunday at some point.
That was it. That's what we were trying to work out. I think we came very close. We were kind of following each other around the tables, weren't we? I think 2, if not 3 games, we were next to each other, but they didn't quite line up in regards to good or evil. So
yeah, I could look to my side and oh my god, one more on us brought a whole bloody Amon Hen with not Amon Hen. Yes, Amon Hen.
Yeah, Amon Hen. Yeah, you were right.
I'm thinking of Amon Salt. Sorry, a whole bloody Amon Hen. I was taking up all the space my rule books are meant to go on. Grumble. Oh, it's Tom. In that case, I will grumble more.
That's very fair. Yeah, I don't blame you for that.
The Green Dragon Pub quiz Saturday evening, as is tradition.
Oh, God, you're doing a quiz. Love the Green Dragon quiz.
We had a full team. We should also say that our good friend George had come to join us for the weekend, which was very unexpected.
That was a lovely surprise, that was. Yeah, really, really was.
Absolute pleasure to have him there, given that we thought we wouldn't see him. He's not done the last couple of events for one reason or another.
And especially after doing that big move to Hull as well, so...
Yeah, so it meant for that quiz, we had a nice little team, little 6 of us.
And Chris coming to join us as well. Chris Webster coming and joining us as well, which is lovely.
Yeah, it's a nice little game.
Yeah.
We don't know anything, got a lot of stuff wrong, but we had fun.
We did all right, though. We didn't do too bad.
We didn't podium.
I don't know if you can measure our success by just other teams being worse than we were. But so yes, cue a slightly more restful sleep, despite Sam waking you up stupidly early.
No, it was the Saturday you nearly killed me.
Oh, was that Saturday you almost killed you? Sorry.
We had so much. Oh, I mean, come on. Who doesn't warn someone that they're going to open the curtains?
Sam.
What a cruel thing to do.
It was a bit mean, to be fair.
Oh, late night, was it? Opens curtains. Meanwhile, Jeb just turns to dust and crumbles in the background.
A vague hissing can be heard from the other room, yeah.
yeah, I'm surprised you didn't hear me melting. It was, God, it was a horrible time. Yeah, Sunday, blimey. So much time. We could plan, we could do all sorts.
Yeah, we had loads of time. It was actually quite a nice start, wasn't it? Like, not getting there for 8 o'clock in the morning, which was refreshing. Was it 10 o'clock, 10:15 the round started?
Something like that.
It was 10:15, I think it was.
I think we were both very reluctant to get out of bed. It was, there's something about a good hotel bed that makes you realise that you need to buy a new bed when you get home.
I do a lot of events. I do a lot of like Malifaux events and overnight stays, and I very rarely have a good hotel bed, so it is refreshing. And me and Stace made mega bed as well, because we had 2 doubles in our room, so we brought them out and pushed them together, so we had a huge, like, floor bed.
Rest assured, Internet, that Sam and I did not do that.
That he's going to admit on camera. We had adjoining rooms, we heard.
You wouldn't unlock the door, though.
I asked them to, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, probably.
Yeah.
But yes, sorry, roll on Sunday, as we've tried to do 3 times now. And your first game on Sunday for domination, wasn't it?
Domination is a scenario I know well. As do you. And we'll say it with me. It's the one where you have... And I'm going to say it at the same time because we both know what it is. 5 objectives. It's that one. Okay. I can remember the game. You just held up 5 fingers.
Yeah, I know, but you know when you say something with such confidence and then... Yeah, 5 objective markers.
Yeah, I can remember the game very clearly. I just couldn't remember what it was.
You keep getting the whole round of domination confused, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sunday morning, going in with my good army. I knew we were not on a winner when a mixed bag. So Jim Oliver's Isengard list has Saruman and Grima, and I'm thinking, oh God, Grima. And I'm quickly racking my brains. I'm looking through the book. How do I deal with Grima? Oh, I've got a really clever plan. I'll just use my free will point to cast Wrath of Brunnen, because you can target Grima with magical powers. And it won't affect any of my friendly models, and then he'll just be hopefully killed or knocked down, and I can run away from him. Great news.
Solid plan.
To which Jim says, yeah, I'm not going to deploy Grima with your warband. I'm going to keep him with Saruman.
Foisted your petard.
To which, right, I just exerted brain power on this.
On a Sunday morning.
How dare you? But no, so that, thinking we've got things rolling. And, the 5 objectives. Do you deploy up to halfway on this one as well, I think?
Yeah, it's on the centre line.
Because I had like a really early game. Yeah, it must be centre line. Elrond done like 4 or 5 nights, and I'm thinking, right, what we'll do is we'll run Elrond to the group of Uruk-hai crossbowmen sat on an objective. We'll cast Wrath of Brunnen. We'll either knock them all down so they can't shoot me, or we'll kill them and we'll get an early doors objective. And of course, Elrond rolled a double 1 to cast Wrath of Brimham.
Oh.
And that was bad. And what was worse was when he then tried to, I'm pretty sure, it was when he tried to jump over a fence and he fell off and lost his horse. And I was like, oh, I see. Sundays like this, is it?
Wow, Elrond had a bit of a rotter, didn't he?
But yeah, so Gulliver, really worried, mostly fine. Elrond, nah, he'll be right. Absolute mare. All weekend. But luck was with me on that game. There was some very outrageous behaviour from like a little warband of elven spearmen, like 10 of them, held up basically the whole Uruk army on one flank.
Damn. Fighting prowess of elves, eh?
I think there were like 3 of them left alive at the end of the game, but it meant none of the Uruks could get to the other objectives, so I think I got a win basically from like 1 model on 3 of the objectives. It was
all tight.
It was tight, and it was very much just down to that luck and winning on fight values, but then not dying. Elrond took like the whole game to kill those crossbowmen. I think Lindir did a sterling job. I think he took about 5 wounds over the course of the game.
Wow.
Now he's only got 2 wounds, and I believe 1 fate point.
Yeah, that's impressive.
There was a lot of... It was... Runs Lindir close enough to Elrond to give him a free will point. But Elrond defended renewing Lindir.
I see.
And then Lindir standing in the open, Saruman just popping up every turn, casting Fireball on him. And just Lindir just tanked like...
Lindir running back to Elrond. Please, Master Elrond. Some more fate points, please.
Have you got any of that, like... Aloe vera, like these burns are so severe.
I'll take off the sun at this point.
There was no right that I should have won that game. There was a lot of insane luck going on, but it was a good start to the day. It was good to have a win. Good for Elrond to not die. He did survive the game. He just wasn't very good.
Please, you got a win under your belt quicker than I did. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Where were you at?
I was up against, it was Luke Gilder and a super themey horde of Dunlendings, the Besiegers of the Hornburg list. Which I've not seen on the table to this point, and it is actually quite scary to see. You've got Wolf and Targ on horse, the big snow troll with the 2 orc companions who give you extra VPs for collecting figures. Yeah. And then just swathes of Dunlendings. There were so many Dunlendings. Those things are dirt cheap. And when they are en masse like that, it's quite scary, particularly when you've only got 10 models in your army.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Target priority. Yeah. Target priority was that troll who did come in swinging. It took Aragorn, Legolas, and I think because Boromir sat in the middle, we had a big like woodland terrain template in the middle. So Boromir, being a woodland creature, because he gets his golden belt from Galadriel, ran through that and sat on the objective in the centre of the board without caring about movement.
Never ever been useful.
I know. I was like, if anyone's going in there, it's going to be Boromir. So he's just sat there and just like tried to deal with Dunlendings most of the game. I remember at one point, I think he had, what did he have? He had 4 might points left, and he rolled 3 1s to win a fight. Yeah, and there was about 8 Dunlendings on him. So
one of those.
Yes. Targ went down pretty quickly. I remember Aragorn getting to Targ. Aragorn and Gimli getting to Targ after Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn dealt with the troll. Because that had to go, because I can't have strength, stupid things smashing apart my defense 3, 4, 5 models. Not giving the troll strike. I suppose it's only a troll, right? Like, but
yeah, I don't feel like it's a super special troll.
Should have one of them. It's got cool little rules though. Like, so he gets bonus of +1 to his attack and fight value when he charges. That was what it was. So he went in because now Aragorn's it takes him to fight 7. Yeah. So Aragorn did have to strike to get above the fight value of it to then do it.
I feel like that's good enough for a troll if you're forcing Aragorn to have to strike.
Yeah, I knew there was something, and I couldn't remember what it was until I just refreshed myself there. But yeah, so forcing Aragorn to spend those might on striking, or just the heroes in general to strike, being guaranteed it with Aragorn. And then, so I had Frodo and Sam behind with them. Merry and Pippin ran off to try and hold one of the objectives on my bottom left corner. And they actually survived quite a long time, despite Crabbe from Dunland swarming them and being chased down by the odd wildmen that came their way. After Aragorn dealt with Targ, he then tried to double back to help with Legolas and the hobbits, and he failed to heroic combat with some Dunlandings and then just got whacked off the board. He got Wolf, that was it. Wolf came in, he failed to do anything, knocked him over, dead. So, 2 out of 2 games by Aragorn achieved basically nothing. Sam, however, did toss up an impressive 7 Dunland kills across the course of the game. On his own, killing 2 in one go. 2 people, 2 Dunland ran into him one time, and he dispatched both of them. Yeah, he was on a tear. Yeah.
Seems like Sam got unreasonably good.
Yeah, it's amazing what an extra attack will do for you. So yeah, his kill like tally at this point was, what was it? It was obviously a ring wraith, a fell beast. Because I'm trading that as part of the kill as well, because you do, and 7 Dunlandings on his own. I think he probably killed more than Aragorn had at this point. Definitely a points value. The true hero of Middle Earth. But unfortunately, as is the case with small hero armies without any kind of dominant and just loads of models on the opposing side, eventually there's going to come to a point where you've cut through enough to force the game end, but you still have numbered on objectives, or you've used your might points, you do eventually fall, because it's the thing with hero armies, it's a game of might points. If you can get rid of their might points, then you're sitting pretty, so you have to weather that storm until they deplete their resources, and then you can just hope they roll really badly, which in my case they do. So yeah, that was I believe a 16-2 win to Luke, and well deserved as well. Like, it was really fun, and actually, like, to see a Dunland list, because a lot of people are doing a lot of the new Rohan stuff, but I haven't seen a lot of the new Dunland stuff. So it was painted really nicely. The troll was beautiful. I'm not brave enough to tackle that troll yet, and I don't know anyone who is. So fair play to you for doing it. But it was nice. It had the Crab Eye, and it felt really Dunlandy. And like plucked it straight out of War of the Ring and plucked it on the board. It was great. It was a lovely army, a great army to play against as well, because it felt like the Fellowship could actually do some stuff. They're cutting apart Dunland on 4s, but they're getting hit back by Troll and Wolf and the rest of the Dunland that haven't been killed. So yeah, absolutely amazing game. And I think I managed to break the Dunland at one point. And I think I might have just managed to clinch maybe a draw had the Dunland not been the bravest Dunland I have ever seen. I think Luke lost like 2 Dunland over the course of 2 turns to courage tests. This horde of Dunlanders. Yeah, they were not having it. But it was a cracking game and a great way to start my Sunday. So, thank you, Luke.
Yeah, I need some lessons from that. I know when I broke one game, I lost a lot of models. We'll come to that.
I really hope it was the Angmar side, because it's warranted there.
Thankfully, yes. It wasn't one of the elves.
No, that was Threat of Skulls you had that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had a real shocker there. That was appalling behaviour.
Fair.
Yes. That's past me's problem. I've moved on.
But it's still in there.
Yeah, I've sort of moved on.
And then, yes, so we are on. This is where I was at the second bottom table. Obviously, not like we go to events. We don't go to win games or do well at all. But any hope of seeing those lofty single digits, well, since gone. Like, let's just keep going. Have a couple of cracking games, and I was up against Gabe Abbott, and he was taking the new Rohan stuff. Actually, it was an all-hero, not all-hero, sorry, because there's not enough heroes to do it, but it had all the main heroes that are currently available, I think, including a proxy for Hera and Helm. I don't think there was Freyatlaf. I might be mistaken.
Right.
I can't remember. He either took all of them or most of them.
Sure.
But it's kind of hard to tell when there's not models for them and you're kind of relying on picking out the Rohan Royal Guard that look a bit different. You know, I remember Helm being there and Herald was there because Herald was his ring bearer for the
Right.
Helm is brutal, by the way. Ow. Like, he is nasty.
Okay.
This
This is the new, like, unarmored helm, or
yeah, this was the new, like, fully armored on horseback helm. But yeah, it was a relatively small list up against the horde of Uruks this time round, and unfortunately, it was a case of, like I just said for the Fellowship, like, you've got to weather that storm, let them use their might points, and eventually things are going to roll back out right. If you've got 40, 50 Uruks just running forward, it was also to the death as well, which was that scenario, and that was reducing 25%. So it's a lot easier to reduce a hero army down to 25% than the theory is to reduce a 50, 60 model strong list to the same.
Depends who's rolling and what the heroes are, I guess. But in this instance,
yeah, because there was a smattering of normal Royal Guard in there as well, so they were quite easy to kind of like pick off with the Uruks around 2 or 3 at a time, and then they dropped, and then it's easier to push through those ones. And the weaker heroes, Hammer and Hammer dropped fairly quickly. I think this is the one game that Lurt's actually managed to do something. He hasn't yet successfully thrown his shield at anyone yet, but he did manage to get in there, and I think he killed Haleth, and then he went toe-to-toe with Helm for a couple of turns. Hera came all the way down with her little escort of Royal Guard to try and get around the back and keep the ring safe, because she was essentially his ring bearer, his elected ring bearer. And unfortunately, she was the second last to die. Helm got to see his entire line wiped out before he got surrounded by all the Uruks and was the last piece to eventually go. It was unfortunately a tabling, and I didn't feel great about it. But Gabe played it really, really well. He was such a lovely guy, like played it really in the spirit which you need to play those kind of games in. Like, yeah, you play those games, like it's all going your way. Like you feel really bad about it. Like you feel like you're not letting your opponent get the game that they deserve or they want. But it always seemed like Gabe was enjoying himself. He didn't like at any point like tilt or start just switching off. He was always engaged, always there. His models look beautiful as well. Some like purple Rohan, like aesthetic purple and gold. Really, really lovely stuff. Yeah, and the old Helm model as well. I get the new one. But it was a really, really lovely game. It did end in a 20-0, which was brutal. The Urukai went on a tear, that one, which is nice to get a win under their belt for the weekend, seeing as this was the last game I was playing with them over the weekend. But Gabe, like, your sportsmanship was second to none. You really, really, really took that in stride, and like, I hope I gave you a good game, and I hope you enjoyed the game, because I certainly did. It was just really, really fun. And nice to actually, in 2 games, get to experience pretty much the entire, like, War of the Rohirrim Blue Ranger models. So that was really refreshing and really quite fun. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, really, really good fun. How was your To the Death?
Well, so I had Gulliver.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if you know how this story goes, but it's not very good. I made a monumental cock-up, I think is the technical term, wherein I thought I'd just avoid Legolas. So I was against Nick Kelly's 5 armies.
Ooh, nice. That must have been hard to squeeze in 700 points.
So I was like maybe Legolas and maybe like 8 Mirkwood elves, something like that. Maybe like 4 with like a small group with the glaive things, a couple of bowmen. I think Hilda Bianca, is that the Lake Town character?
Yeah, that's the one.
With like a small war band of Lake Town militia, some archers, and then I think maybe 2 of the cheaper Thorin's company with some Iron Hills dwarves. So it was a nice mixture of all the things.
Ooh.
And I mean, I see Legolas and I just think, oh, good God, Gulliver. What do I do with you?
You've
I
played
know.
this. You've played this practice game, yeah.
I know how this goes. Fine. There's a really nice double-length Rohan house. I'll run him up that to claim the cover. Not really factoring that this man on your board, the Rohan house is here, and it meant that I'm funneling my army out to the flank. And then at some point, they need to come back in again. So, I think my lovely Warg pack got. You know, I don't even think they got destroyed by anything impressive. Oh, sorry, there was also Bjorn. That was the other thing.
Oh yes, I remember seeing Bjorn on your.
That was it.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to think what happened to my Warg pack, and then I remembered
The
Bjorn.
bear.
There was a series of rolls that were just not meant to be. I think it was a Warg chieftain and like 3 wild Wargs against 1 elf, who could quite happily have done heroic combat, slingshot into Legolas, wouldn't have had to worry about Gulliver. Happy days from like maybe turn 2 or 3. Beorn against a Warg. I win the roll off for the heroic combat. I go first. We don't kill the elf.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Conversely, Beorn tears apart his Warg. Or at this point, should I say, bear, because obviously bear.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Why would you ever convert him back to man form? Yeah, we sort of joked a little bit about, you know, you pay all this money, you're paying this foot model for the deployment phase.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's the only time you ever see him.
And then, yeah, I think I just got mauled by a bear, basically. The Warg Chieftain went out immediately. And Beorn then just went on a number. He just went through just a couple of round combats to tear through Wargs, Warg Chieftain, Barrow White before he could do a single spell. Yeah, he just had a field day. That was, yeah, it was a real teddy bear's picnic, where the picnic was orcs.
The picnic was you.
But again, it was still an enjoyable game. There still was a game in it. The armies did manage to like clash, barring, you know, Wargs. They were sad. And obviously to the death. I mean, at that point, I think Gulliver got gently mauled, but managed to get back up to full health with his whole vampire thing that he's got going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had its moments. I think we might have managed to kill Legolas by the end, but there was no way, you know, the army was just taken apart. When you've got a bear on your flanks,
and you funneled yourself up the flank yourself,
and you, the only thing you've got that can really contend with the bear is Gulliver. I'm pretty sure this was the game where I started falling back on ye olde heroic defense with Gulliver because things were not looking good. And yeah, it was a game, but it was very much a destruction of Angmar, I think. But as I've said, it wasn't a good Angmar list, and it was also me. So
imagine what you'd be like if you had a good Angmar list and also just, you know, weren't you.
And also not me. Yeah. Oh, stunning.
More barrel whites, right? That's what you want, more barrel whites. Paradise.
Yeah, barrel white. I feel like we lost a little bit of synergy with Spectres being an intelligence test now, not a courage test.
Yeah, and also still being 15 points is
they work better with whatever the super Spectre is called, Shadow of Rudar, because he's got a area effect -1 intelligence test spell or something. But you're then investing a lot to try and get these abilities off.
Yeah, it almost feels like they should be like kind of on the high end of infantry, not 15, but like 8, 9 points for a Denmark Spectre. I think would be kind of okay, given the rest of their stat line is pretty poo.
Yeah, they're not great. I think they're like fight. They're like fight 1, strength 2 or something. Like, they're not good.
To the book.
Or it might be 2, 3. They're poor performers, but they do have defense 7. They've got that going.
Defense 6.
All right. Well. All right. We'll edit that out.
Yeah. Fight 2, strength 3, defense 6.
Yeah, they're very, very low end of infantry, and yet coming in at. Are they the same or more than a berserker now? I can't remember whether berserker's got a points drop.
Berserker,
but I know which one I would pick.
15 points. Still 15 points. But yeah, if your choices are Spectre or Berserker.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because the Spectre models are so beautiful, actually. They are really, really lovely models. And I would love to see like a host of Ghost. That'd be so cool. Like Shade, Witch King, Barrel Whites, Shadow of Rudar, and then just Army of Ghosts that isn't Army of the Dead. Like a proper creepy Angmar, like malicious spirit thing. That'd be great. But not paying 15 points for crappy ghosts. 8 points for crappy ghosts. 9 points for crappy ghosts. Fine. 15 points.
I'd go as far as to pay 10.
That still feels a bit much for me. Not double digits.
I feel like 10 if you had more reliability of the ability, which you might have with Shadow of Rudar.
Yeah, that's fair. We had this conversation, didn't we? Like their ability you maybe get off like once in a game if you're lucky.
But also, I feel like because it's changed slightly, you now have to bring the model directly towards you.
Yeah.
Or maybe you always did. I might be mixing them up with Sentinels where you could just move enemy models. But it's got limited uses. It's not like you're targeting, for example, you're not targeting a banner in the back ranks and moving it away from the fight.
Yeah.
You're very limited on what the actual tactical applications of this ability are. Sure, you can move a model forwards to try and get heroic combat off of them. You can pull someone up a shield wall. There are a few things that you could do, but it's kind of high risk, low reward, really.
And ultimately quite niche, yeah.
Yeah, so they performed about as well as I expected, and by that I mean they all died.
Again.
And this was the game where courage was not a winner. I think we went from being broken to being 25% in the space of like a turn.
Oh, that's grim.
Just in combination of courage tests and savage bear maulings. Which is, entirely reasonable.
Oh, yeah, but...
yeah, that goes to you. Fair play. A tactical player would have tried to lead the bear on a merry jig, because I think he's got a rule which is has to charge if possible or something.
I haven't got the Hobbit book to hand.
Someone with half a brain would have, placed a warg just in charge range and let him away, but that's not me.
That's why we love you.
Yay. But yeah, so a clear not win. But a good game, which I think takes us to the final game of the weekend.
Your 6th game, and everyone's favourite mission, Hold Ground, which of course has...
Maelstrom of Fire!
Woo! Everyone's favourite rule in the game.
Oh, I just can't. I know there are some lists that have got characters that let you plus minus your rolls. I know you can use my points to adjust it, but there is something about having an army come on from like multiple different points, especially with the way the warbands work, that this one wasn't so much an issue, but that historically you can end up with a, you know, deployment. You know, this maelstrom has basically cost the game, for example. You know, there's scenarios where, fine, obviously you can't charge, but you can bring a warband on directly behind someone. Things like that, which always a little bit iffy. I was quite fortunate in that most of my army came on one side, just one warband off to the other side. What were we against? We were Liam Clark's. Can't remember whether it was Azog's Legion or just Azog, like whatever the list is called. It was Azog and like.
Oh, was it not like Azog's Hunters? Because I was playing Azog Hunters.
Hunters, maybe, yeah. Because you had the Hunter Orcs, some Fell Wargs, and Azog Hunters. Yeah, that sounds right.
Azog Hunters.
Azog, Bolg, which can't remember what else, honestly, hero-wise. But then just Hunter Orcs, Wargs, bits and pieces. But as I said, I was very fortunate. The army came in pretty much in one place and could like reform as an army, meaning that we got quite a few. We got quite a few Ratha Brunans off, which is huge, especially against the Hunter Orc. The lower defense makes a big difference. I think we got an early scare on Azog with maybe 4 bowmen doing wound on the White Warg. It was probably the better maelstrom I've had for a long time.
That doesn't make it right, though.
No. And obviously it's the game where you're sort of heading into the middle. I kind of let Liam take the middle because it meant I could consolidate my force and approach it as an army, get a few shots off, and then just try and wreak havoc with Rathabrunnen. Annoyingly, I think every game that I played with my good army, the evil lists had some sort of perfect counter. One of the 3 trolls upgrades gives them resistance to magic or something like that.
Right.
So made it hard work for Elrond. Obviously, the second game was good. I was against Isengard with Saruman, so big wizard. I'm keeping will points to resist things.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure it's Azog's Hunters where they all gain resistance to magic.
Didn't come up in my game, so I'm not entirely sure on that one.
Or it's something like that. But I did get a couple of them off, and then like Elrond actually got to go to town for once.
On game 6 of the weekend.
Like he cut through a load of orcs and then was like, you know what, fine, we'll take on Azog. And then we proceeded to have maybe 4 or 5 turns of this epic duel that was so sketchy. I think it finished with like, I believe Azog was killed, and I think Elrond was on like 1 wound with no fate, no might. It was hairy. Azog's kind of what it's called, but he's still got that wounding heroes on 3+ rule thing.
Yeah. That's a scary rule. That's a scary rule.
Bypassing your defense 7 is very scary. So a good game. They just turned into like a full-on brawl in the center of the field. But actually, I ended a second win of the weekend at the very end of all things.
Hey.
I've overlooked Lindir for a number of years, but actually having the ability to give Elrond the will point each turn, but also to have that support buffer of being able to cast Renew on him.
Yeah, that's big.
Stat wise, he's basically a captain without heavy armor.
That with a higher fight value because Elf can hold his own, right? A bit more.
Well, like that's what I mean, like Elf captain.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Or is he? I'm not sure he's 5'6". I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. But so there's, I think I was pleasantly surprised with over the course of the weekend, actually, like the buffs to Elrond, He also has a resistance to magic bubble, so against Saruman that was really useful. Yeah, but this clash of heroes, I think we were both so on edge with just because Azog doesn't have the heavy armor in this list.
No.
So it's if Azog wins, oh god, Elrond's getting chopped up pretty easy. Similar the other way around. So we're both just like, all right, all of my points are going into strikes or into winning the fight, but they're not really getting the wounds through. So it went on for ages until I think like the very last turn of the game.
Cool.
Which
it's a probably a little back and forth, but
yeah, squeaky bum time, because that's what the keys. But yeah, a good game, a nice one to finish off on as well. And yeah, pretty good.
Good stuff.
And you were right next to me, and I know for a fact there were some shenanigans in that game.
I don't know what you're talking about. Shenanigans. I got to also play the wonderful Nick Bramwell as well, and he was running Azog's Hunters. So not only were we known next to each other on tables, we were playing against the same armies as well. And yes, Maelstrom of Battle, because my Haldir and my Elf can't deploy with my Fellowship, so they get stuck in a corner, and these 8 other models all get to deploy in a nice big bubble in the middle.
I'm sorry to interrupt and go back to my game, but I've just remembered one thing you're saying about Haldir. Thrain the Broken.
Right.
He came on the very corner of the board. He's got like the Broken Mind equivalent rule where whoever controls him. He spent the whole game running around difficult terrain and then through difficult terrain, got to the very edge of the combat, and then started failing all his tests, so I controlled him, and he ran back away, and he never joined the game.
Oh, poor Thrain!
He just sprinted halfway across the battlefield, and then started moving at like 2 inches a turn or whatever through terrain, and then he was just off again.
Oh.
So yeah, sorry, carry on. But saying how playing in a corner reminded me of that, which was just we were both like, he's either going to do great or he's going to be atrocious. We were both wrong. He just didn't get to do.
He didn't get to do anything. No, it got to be neither. Oh, Paul Thrain, you're a bad man. But yes, so Haldir and the Banner Bearer are off in the corner. The rest of the Fellowship right in front of me. I'm not having to move a table, like go around the table and play on that side. I'm well happy. And for the most part, the Hunter Orcs, led by Azog. He didn't have Bolg in this one. He had, I think it was Yazneg and Narzug. Narzug being the orc with the bow who gets decapitated in Desolation, I believe. And Yazneg being the lieutenant who gets eaten at Weathertop, I think.
Right.
Sorry. But yeah, there was a healthy amount of, obviously, Wild Riders led by Azog, and they come thundering forwards. And I'm thinking, great, this Azog wounds heroes on 3s. There's one model in my army that you can't really wound on 3s, so it's stuck in a corner with Haldir. It probably does wound on 3s, because it's defense 3, probably. So, excuse me. Hey, Gina. And, so yeah, these Hunter Orcs are thundering across the field, and the rest of them kind of running up with their foot captain. Shooting phase comes. Azog's at the front of the pack. Legolas takes a couple of shots. Suddenly, Azog's on 1 wound, no fate. Does an immediate U-turn and starts like running around the outside of this centre bit of woodland terrain, bless him. But gets to like turn 2, and he moves Azog first, and I can then move Legolas, who manages to move down like a sight line through these trees, so he's got clear line of sight. Obviously not suffering the -1 penalty to hit, because Legolas now. And let's just say by turn 2, the Warg was significantly lighter.
You're a bad man, and you could feel bad.
I did. I felt awful. I felt horrible. I really did. And you know what? I don't think it would have been nearly as bad without the sharpshooter rule on both Legolas and Haldir, but Haldir obviously wasn't really doing anything at that point. He was running up to try and catch up. But without the sharpshooter and like you're randomising between the Warg and Azog, it's a lot Like, that's not going to happen nearly as frequently. But because Legolas can go, cool, I've hit with 3, I'm going to choose to do all 3 of these into Azog, rather than, like, missing a few onto the Warg and whatnot. But yeah, no, Azog was their turn 2, having not seen the combat. And I felt really awful. And Nick took it in really good stride. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the game, right? You've got to play the game.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and take the advantages you can get in the game, right? And no, he took it in his stride and like, yeah, well, that's just one of those things that happens. And he carried on playing and we carried on going. And it ended up being just, I mean, it's whole ground, right? As soon as I've marched into the middle with Aragorn, I'm sitting there with Aragorn, Boromir, Gimli, Legolas slightly further out, Hobbits significantly further out, but they're still managing to hold their own against these wargs that are running into them. And it's just a massive slugfest. And, you know, I'm wounding things on 4s. And, you know, those games where just the dice always seem to go your way? Like, I don't think Nick...
No, I know. I don't know what those are, actually.
Usually when you play me with your elves. And your battery rolls, that's what that is. Yeah, I don't think Nick won many fights. And I felt really bad. But it was a phenomenal game to end the weekend on. It really was. And Nick was a great opponent. Just super calm, super chilled. Just, you know, and again, you know, just took it in his stride, like I say. And really good fun. And again, an army that I don't get to see very often on tabletop. How often do you see Azog's hunters nowadays? You know, if you see anything in regard to Azog, it's usually good to bad. Because the trolls and the bats and armored good to bad aren't hunter orcs, you know, so... But the hunter orcs with 2 attacks running in, 1 foot, pretty solid.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good, yeah. I genuinely thought...
I'm a big fan of the sculpts.
No, I'm not a massive fan. I prefer the mounted ones to the foot ones. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the foot sculpts, personally.
Although that's as much a film design cue thing as the sculpts themselves. You know,
right?
They can only sculpt what there is.
Yeah, they can't just make new hunter orcs that aren't in the film, right? Because it's a license thing. So, I did get a little bit worried during deployment though, because I saw Azog obviously on the table, and I saw Bolg like sitting on his box, and I can't remember why he said Bolg was there, but Bolg wasn't part of the army, and I was just like, well, it's okay because I could be playing that where it is Azog and Bolg. I've only got Yasneg and Narzug to deal with. Sam continued going on a tear. I think he claimed a good couple of wild kills for himself, so he ended the weekend on double digits in kills and like triple digits in cost of kills. So it was pretty good.
Very nice.
But I've played Nick a couple of times before. It's always been a phenomenal game. Always a really great opponent. Nick, thank you so much for making the last game really great to go out on. Sorry you couldn't kill the ring bearer and claim the last ring. But thank you so much for the last game. It was really, really good fun. And it did end, again, on a second win, much like yourself, to the Fellowship with a 12-0. I'm sorry to say. But yeah, that's the end of 6 phenomenal games at another tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good. I think, yeah, happy to get 2 wins. Maybe surprised at it, but happy with it. And probably more than we deserve.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like 6 good games, 6 good opponents. Like just a nice weekend away from the real world, away from being an adult, and just diving into Middle Earth and just having a really lovely time
with like-minded nerds playing the game that we all love in the spirit that it should be played, and that's all that you want from toy soldiers, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to be a hobby that I give up anytime soon. It's definitely always going to be up there in my favourite games. So
yeah, I imagine the cabinet behind you screaming out in pain at the thought of being given up at any time.
Yeah. There's a second one there now. This is all a mess. If Stacey knew I was sharing this on the internet, she'd go spare, but
she will know.
Yeah, but it's done now.
So this could be your last video when you get murdered. No, she wouldn't do that.
No, just gently maim.
She won't lob a side up in your head, but
I mean, he is a big Psyduck, to be fair.
he'll do some damage.
But it's always a little bit anticlimactic, I feel, after the last game's finished and the armies get packed away. You know, well, I mean, to be fair, like with GT, you pack one army away at the 5th game, don't you? I suppose to make it a bit easier, but
No.
right, well, I did.
Yeah, well, I didn't have the box, so I couldn't.
That's fair. Yeah, it's a bit anticlimactic because you sit there and the awards go on, and then right, goodbye, see you next time, and it's just like, oh, well, I want to do more. I want more Middle Earth events.
Well, maybe we'll just have to do more Middle Earth events.
I agree.
Maybe that's the solution to all our problems.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. We'll push Battlefield to that burner for a little bit and come to Middle Earth again. Also, before we forget, massive congratulations to anyone who won prizes, who podiumed, who got any sportsmanship awards, anyone who got nominations. Massive congratulations to all of you for that, for excellent gameplay, excellent hobbying. The level just continues to rise every year and every event we go to. Like, one day there'll be a board that turns up with running water and electricity and God knows what else, like moving parts and moving. That'll be insane. But that's probably the way.
Well, you say that. I think we've had lights.
We've had lights. Phil does lights quite a lot.
Yes, we already kind of have electricity. It's only really running water we've got to worry about.
Yeah.
We've had smoke effects as well, haven't we? Sometimes.
I can't remember the smoke effect. I think there was an issue with that because they didn't want it going off in the hall, just in case it's.
Maybe. We've certainly had quite a lot of very involved, very intricate boards,
haven't we? Just, and everyone who got a nomination this year, very well deserved. I don't know how the judges pick who they do. I really don't know. Their job gets harder and harder every year. I wouldn't want to be one of them, like going around and trying to cherry pick the ones that I thought were worthy of a nomination over others, because everyone's hobby is phenomenal.
See, this is where I feel like I'm doing them a favour. By not doing a nicely painted army, that's one less that they have to think about and deliberate. Really, I'm doing it for them, and I thank them to remember that.
It's late. I'm not going to try and argue your batshit logic. But it is going to kill me, apparently. Oh, mercy. Yeah. Also, just from myself as well, thank you to all my opponents for 6 phenomenal games. Thank you for everyone who voted for me for Best Army. I was very fortunate enough to come away with the win on that one, which I think it's the second time I've managed to do that in all the time I've been going. So really, thank you guys so much. It is incredible, and I'm very humbled by it. Thank you really, really very, very much. I can't say more than that because I don't really know how to react when I get praise or accolades, but it does mean the world. So thank you very much. It is very, very much appreciated. The top of that shelf is getting a bit full now. Spray cans and glass here. But yeah, just another phenomenal weekend. Like, really, I can't stress how much I enjoy going to these weekends, and they're kind of like milestones in the year that I just look forward to so much, because it's a little break from, like you say, the day to day, and getting to go and experience and play the thing that you've played for so long and loved for so long with people that you've grown up with. Like, you know, we met Cannon when he was a little lad running around in an elven cloak. Do you remember? Yeah.
Don't.
And now he's got a better paying job than both of us.
God, yeah, time is a thing.
Yeah, time is a thing.
On that cheery note.
That's a bit of a downer, isn't it?
Yeah. No, we've got to get to thinking about doubles and get our butts in gear.
Yeah, sooner rather than later, I would argue.
Look at some lists.
Yeah, we'll have a play. If you've got any suggestions, love to hear them in the comments. Let us know what you think we should do. it'll probably get shouted down by Mr. Jeb, but
I think there aren't 4 trolls, and then we'd have 2 trolls each.
I literally just thought, oh, trolls. No, wait, got slice one in half, you know.
Because I thought of trolls the other day, I was like, oh, but then one of us only gets 1 model to play with. That'd be a bit lame.
Yeah. You could always like
If you're controlling all 3 and like 1 dies and you've still got toys, if you're doing it like that, it's I would love dearly to be able to do a list which was Glorfindel and Elven Cavalry and Arnor and Cavalry. The closest you've got is the list with Fornost and Aenor, who can lead knights and Minas Tirith. Glorfindel, who can have a horse, but then only Elven infantry.
I wouldn't be opposed to working something out on Fornost.
I've got Snowy Elves.
I've got Aenor, and I've got 4 boxes of Ministry of Knights I haven't built yet.
Alright, well, if this video gets a certain number of likes...
No, it'll be a poll in the community tab, mate. No.
No, that doesn't boost your engagement. I'm trying to get likes on this video.
But, yeah, so that is another GT, another Middle-earth tournament at Warhammer World concluded. The round up a little bit later than I would like usually, but real life gets in the way, right? So,
just I've been ready to go for weeks, and he's just been busy.
We have words tomorrow.
I think you mean today.
Yeah, I do actually. It's past midnight now. Sad. But yes, so we'll be throwing some doubles ideas around. Again, like I say, let us know in the comments if you've got anything you'd like to particularly for us to consider. And thank you again to all 6 of my opponents over the course of the GTA weekend. I loved every single game. Everyone was super fun for different reasons. Your hobby was amazing. The armies all looked great. They all felt really thematic, even though it was like a really, like, if you're going to get a competitive, like, GT is the one to do it at, right?
Sure.
Like, but all the armies felt really themey, all had a, a purpose, and all felt really, really, really concise. Whether that's more because they've been shoehorned into because of the new edition, I don't know, but they felt really themey, and that's what I'm all about. So,
yeah,
pleasure to play each one of you. Thank you all for 6 amazing games.
Yeah, likewise. I had a really good time. Different armies.
Yeah.
Which is also nice.
No duplicates either side.
Yeah, it's just a really good, really fun weekend. So, I would echo that.
And we look forward to, obviously, thank you, Jeb, for being here for a start today and, sharing the weekend with us, and Stace for doing all the driving, and Sam for being there,
I'm for being there.
Shirking on his beer wench duties.
No, he bought me a beer at one point.
He bought me a beer at one point, yeah. That's fine.
We'll let him off.
Yeah, it's his first one.
Next time.
Next time. And of course, George for coming down as well. So that was a lovely surprise. But yes, enough thank yous. And you've heard enough of our horrible voices for the last 2 hours.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed our little roundup. Hopefully, all the pictures are going fine, and you get a feel for some of the awesome armies I played over the weekend. I don't know if Jed, you've got any pictures?
I don't think so.
No, we'll have a look. Maybe there's some floating around. And if there are, then I'll make sure to get those in there. But yeah, hopefully we'll get to see more of you up at the doubles and then the Throne of Skulls later on in the year. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell for video upload notifications so you don't miss a video. The Patreon is also live, and if you want to support my unhealthy addiction to Palo Witch flesh, you can support us there for little over £1 a month. Absolutely no obligation, but it is always greatly, greatly appreciated. But thank you all for supporting the channel as you do anyway. It means a lot to me. So thank you guys so, so much. And thank you again for today, our little chat there, Jeb, and our roundup. Always great to see you, and we'll be seeing him in more Crest of the Ring Bearer scenarios coming very soon. Now the back reps are coming out thick and fast. Fantasy Fellowship's coming as well, very, very soon. Very, very soon. Until next time, that's... That's a bye from me, and I'll see you next time, guys. Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.